Lena worked at a small cafe near the bus stop where the same people came every day for the same drinks and the same quick talk. The place was warm and bright, even when the outside air felt cold and heavy. The bell above the door rang again and again, and each ring sounded like another minute Lena had to survive. She moved between tables with practiced steps, holding trays, refilling cups, wiping spills, and smiling when customers looked up. She was good at being calm. She was good at acting like nothing was wrong. But today, something was wrong in a way that was bigger than tired feet or a long shift. Lena's hands were steady when she poured coffee, yet her chest felt tight the whole time. Every time she heard her phone buzz in her apron pocket, her stomach turned. She did not want to check it, because she already knew what it would say. She had read the message so many times that the words felt burned into her mind. Tomorrow. That one word followed her like a shadow. Tomorrow was the day she had to prove she had stability. Tomorrow was the day she had to show the landlord and the office worker and the people who judged her life from behind a desk that she was not alone. It did not make sense to Lena, and it did not feel fair, but it was the rule in that building and in that system. The room she rented was cheap, and cheap places came with harsh rules. The office that handled family matters was also strict. Lena had been trying to do everything the right way, but the right way still felt impossible. Behind the counter, she stacked clean cups and tried to focus on the simple tasks in front of her. The smell of baked bread and sweet pastries filled the air. The coffee machine hissed and steamed like it was angry at the world. Lena wished she could be like the machine. Loud, powerful, unbothered. But she was not loud. She was the kind of person who carried pain quietly, even when it grew too heavy. She glanced at the clock. The shift was moving, but not fast enough. A few tables were occupied, mostly regulars. Near the window sat Adam, a man who came in often with his little boy. Lena had learned their names from other staff members and from the small moments that repeated. Adam ordered a simple black coffee most days, sometimes tea. The boy, Max, liked warm milk and a cookie. Max always asked for crayons and drew pictures of cars, houses, and animals with big happy faces. Adam was not the kind of customer who demanded attention. He was polite and patient. He kept his voice low. When Max dropped crumbs, Adam cleaned them without being asked. When Max laughed too loudly, Adam would gently remind him to use an indoor voice, not in a harsh way, but in a way that made it feel like learning, not punishment. Lena had noticed these things without meaning to. She had noticed because kindness stood out. Lena brought their order and set it down carefully. Adam looked up and smiled in a simple way, like he was thankful for ordinary help. "Thank you," he said. Max waved at her with both hands. "Hi Lena," he said, because he remembered her name, and that made Lena's throat tighten. "Hi Max," she replied, trying to sound normal. Adam watched her for a second longer than usual. His eyes were calm, but they were sharp in the way that good parents often were. He noticed small changes. Lena looked away first and returned to the counter, but she could feel his attention on her like a quiet question. When the cafe grew busy for a while, Lena was glad because she could hide inside the work. A group of students came in laughing. An older couple asked for extra sugar. A man in a suit complained about the temperature of his tea, then apologized when he saw Lena's tired face. Lena kept moving. She kept smiling. She kept her voice soft. But the pressure inside her did not ease. During a short break, she stepped into the staff area near the kitchen door. The room smelled like soap and warm dishes. Lena pulled out her phone and stared at the screen. There was another message, short and cold. Deadline is tomorrow. No extension. She read it twice, then a third time, as if the words might change if she looked hard enough. Her hands started shaking. Her eyes watered. She covered her mouth with her palm so no sound would escape. She thought about her younger sister, who was staying with a neighbor until things were stable. Lena remembered the girl's small hands holding hers and the promise Lena had made, that everything would be okay, that she would make a home, that she would not let anyone take them apart. Lena did not have much money, but she had work. She did not have family support, But she had love. Still, love was not something that paperwork accepted. When her break ended, Lena washed her face with cold water and returned to the cafe. She tried again to be the person everyone expected her to be. But her heart was beating too fast, and her thoughts would not slow down. As evening came, the light outside turned orange and then deep blue. The cafe softened. Fewer customers came in. The noise dropped into a gentle hum. Lena started wiping tables and organizing chairs, preparing for closing. She could almost pretend the world was simple, with only cups and crumbs and the smell of coffee. But then she heard a group at the back laughing about weddings and couples and how people rushed into choices just to look normal to others. The laughter was not cruel, but it cut Lena anyway. It hit the exact fear she had been carrying. She felt her chest tighten again, and this time her control slipped. She turned toward the counter, but tears slipped out before she could stop them. She tried to hide it, pressing her fingers to her eyes, breathing quickly. A customer noticed and went quiet. Then, another. The cafe grew still, as if the room itself was holding its breath. Lena could feel eyes on her. She hated that feeling. She hated being seen when she was weak. She hated that her private panic had become public. She opened her mouth to say it was nothing. She wanted to laugh it off. She wanted to run to the back and disappear. But the pressure inside her had been building for too long, and when it broke in words. "I need a husband by tomorrow," Lena said. The sentence hung in the air. It sounded strange, even to her. She heard it and wanted to pull it back. Some people looked confused. One person gave an awkward laugh as if it were a joke. Someone else coughed and looked away. Lena stood still, face hot, hands clenched, wishing she could rewind time. She tried to explain, but her throat closed. The room felt too bright. Her eyes stung. She swallowed hard and looked down at the counter, staring at a small crack in the wood like it was the only safe thing to focus on. Then a chair scraped against the floor. Lena looked up. Adam had stood from his seat near the window. Max looked up at him, surprised, still holding a crayon in his small hand. Adam's face was serious, not angry, not amused, not judging. He walked a few steps closer, stopping at a respectful distance. His voice was calm, steady, and clear. "I can help," he said. Lena froze. Her brain did not understand right away. She blinked, and her breathing became shallow. She looked around, expecting someone to laugh again, expecting someone to tell Adam to sit down, expecting the moment to turn into embarrassment. But Adam did not look uncertain. He did not look like he was trying to be a hero. He looked like a person making a careful decision. Lena's lips parted, but no words came out. Her eyes moved from Adam to Max, then back to Adam. Max stared at Lena with wide curiosity, not fear, not judgment, just the honest look of a child who did not yet understand why adults were so complicated. The cafe stayed quiet. Even the coffee machine seemed to have stopped hissing. Lena felt like the world had shifted, like a door she did not know existed had suddenly opened. Adam took a slow breath, then spoke again, softer this time. "If you really need someone to stand with you, I can stand," he said. Lena's heart pounded. She did not know what this meant, or what it would cost, or why he would do it. She only knew that tomorrow was coming, and for the first time all day, she felt something other than fear. She felt a small, fragile hope, and it scared her even more than panic because hope could break. Still, as Adam stood there, steady and real, Lena realized this was not a joke anymore. This was the moment everything could change, for better or for worse, and she had to decide what to do next. Lena stood still for a long moment after Adam spoke. Her mind felt slow, like it was moving through thick air. She heard the sounds of the cafe return little by little. Someone cleared a throat. A cup touched a saucer. Life did not stop, even when her world felt like it had turned upside down. Adam did not rush her. He stayed where he was, hands relaxed at his sides. Max looked between them, sensing that something important was happening. Lena took a breath, and then another. She finally nodded, not because she fully understood, but because she had no other choice left. The manager of the cafe, a kind woman named Nora, stepped closer. Her voice was careful. She asked Lena if she wanted to take a moment in the back. Lena agreed, and Adam followed at a respectful distance after asking if it was okay. Max held Adam's hand and walked quietly. The staff room was small and smelled like soap and old coffee. Lena sat on a chair and pressed her palms together. Nora stood near the door, giving them space but staying close enough in case Lena needed support. Adam sat across from Lena, while Max climbed onto a spare chair and began drawing again, as if this were just another place to sit. Lena looked at Adam and finally found her voice. She explained everything in short sentences. She spoke about the rented room, the rules, the office papers, and her sister. She did not go into deep emotion. She did not cry again. She just told the truth as clearly as she could. Adam listened without interrupting. His face showed concern, not pity. When Lena finished, she felt empty and tired. She waited for Adam to change his mind. She waited for him to say he had misunderstood. But he did not. Adam spoke slowly. He explained that he was a single father. His wife had passed away years ago, and since then, his life had been about work, home, and raising Max with care. He was not looking for drama or trouble. He believed in honesty and clear boundaries. He said he was offering help, not promises of something fake or rushed. This would be an agreement, Adam said. Clear rules. Respect. No lies to each other. Just standing together when needed. Lena listened closely. She asked questions. She wanted to know why he would help someone he barely knew. Adam looked at Max before answering. Because people helped me when I needed it, he said. And because Max learns from what I do. Max looked up and smiled proudly, still holding a blue crayon. They talked for a long time. They discussed what tomorrow would look like. Adam agreed to go with Lena to the office as her partner. They would explain the living situation and show unity. They would not add extra stories. Just enough truth to satisfy the rules. Nora checked on them again and offered her support. She even offered to adjust Lena's shift if needed. Lena felt surrounded by kindness in a way she had not felt in years. When the cafe finally closed, Lena walked outside with Adam and Max. The night air was cool and calm. Streetlights reflected on the road. Lena realized she was not shaking anymore. Adam offered to walk them to the bus stop. On the way, Max asked simple questions. He asked if Lena liked drawing and if she had a favorite color. Lena answered honestly and smiled for real this time. At the stop, Adam suggested they meet early in the morning to prepare. Lena agreed. They exchanged phone numbers. When the bus arrived, Lena stepped inside and found a seat by the window. She watched Adam and Max walk away together. For the first time in weeks, Lena felt she might sleep. The next morning came too fast. Lena woke before her alarm. She dressed carefully in clean clothes and tied her hair neatly. She wanted to look responsible, calm, and strong. She packed her papers and checked them twice. Adam arrived on time with Max. Max wore a neat shirt and held a small toy car. Adam greeted Lena with a polite smile. There was no awkwardness, just quiet focus. They traveled together to the office. The building was tall and gray. Inside, the air felt heavy. Lena felt her nerves return, but Adam stayed steady beside her. When it was their turn, they sat across from the officer, a woman with sharp eyes and a flat tone. Adam spoke clearly. He explained their situation without extra emotion. Lena added details when asked. They did not interrupt each other. They did not contradict each other. Max sat quietly, drawing lines on paper. The officer listened and typed notes. She asked questions about living arrangements, income, and plans. Adam answered honestly. Lena answered honestly. There were moments when Lena thought her heart would jump out of her chest. But Adam's presence kept her grounded. After what felt like hours, The officer leaned back. She said the arrangement would be accepted for now. She explained the next steps and deadlines. Lena nodded, barely able to breathe. When they left the office, Lena stopped walking and covered her face with her hands. She laughed and cried at the same time. Adam stood nearby, giving her space. Max hugged her leg without being asked. "Thank you," Lena said when she could speak again. Her voice was soft but full. Adam nodded. "We did what we said we would do." They walked out into the daylight together. The world looked different now. Not perfect. Not easy. But possible. As they stood there, Lena realized this agreement had already changed something inside her. It was not just about tomorrow anymore. It was about trust, responsibility, and the strange way lives could connect when people chose kindness over fear. And even though the future was still uncertain, Lena knew one thing clearly. She was no longer facing it alone. Lena thought the hardest part was over after the office accepted the arrangement for now. She believed the storm had passed and the sky would stay clear. But life did not work that way. Life often waited until a person relaxed, then tested them again. After the meeting, Adam offered to walk Lena to a nearby tea stall so she could calm down. Max sat on the bench beside them, swinging his legs while he held his toy car. Lena drank warm tea slowly and tried to steady her breathing. Her hands still trembled a little, but her mind felt lighter. Adam spoke in a practical tone. He said they should plan what came next. If the office would check again, they needed to be prepared. Lena nodded. She did not want to depend on luck. She wanted to do things right. They agreed on simple rules. Adam would not move into Lena's place because it was too small anyway. Lena would not try to take a mother role for Max unless Max wanted that naturally. They would meet often enough to look like a real household unit, but not in a forced way. They would keep their personal lives separate and respectful. No confusing signals. No promises they could not keep. Lena appreciated the clarity. The idea of pretending without clear lines scared her. She had been hurt before by people who offered help and then demanded something in return. Adam did not seem like that. He seemed steady, like a wall that did not crack under pressure. Still, Lena felt nervous. A fake arrangement could still turn into real trouble if others judged it. People talked. People watched. And Lena lived in a place where everyone knew everyone's business. That fear became real 2 days later. Lena returned to work at the cafe. She tried to act normal. She smiled, served customers, and did her tasks. But she noticed something different. A few regular customers looked at her longer than usual. Some whispered to each other. A woman near the window smirked as Lena passed. Lena kept her face calm, but her stomach tightened. During Lena's break, Nora called her into the back. Nora's face was serious. She held her phone in her hand. "Lena," Nora said, "someone posted about you online." Lena felt her skin go cold. She asked Nora what happened. Nora turned the phone screen toward her. There was a photo taken inside the cafe. It showed Adam standing near Lena, with Max beside him. The photo was not clear, but it was enough to show faces. Below it were words that made Lena's heart drop. People were writing rumors. They were making up stories. Some comments were mocking. Some were cruel. Some were simply nosy. Lena's throat went dry. She could barely breathe. Nora took the phone back gently. "I'm sorry," Nora said. "I reported it. But it's already spreading." Lena sat down slowly. Her legs felt weak. She had tried to keep things quiet. She had tried to protect her sister from drama. She had tried to protect Adam and Max too. Now it was becoming public in the worst way. Lena called Adam after her shift. Her voice shook when he answered. She explained everything. Adam stayed calm, but she could hear a change in his breathing. He did not like attention. He did not like his son being dragged into gossip. Adam said he would come by the cafe after closing so they could talk face to face. When he arrived, Max was with him. Max looked tired, rubbing his eyes. Lena felt guilt hit her hard when she saw the boy. She did not want Max to be part of her problems. They sat in the staff room again. Nora offered them privacy and stayed outside. Lena showed Adam the post and the comments. Adam's jaw tightened. He did not react with anger, but his eyes became colder. He scrolled carefully, reading enough to understand, then stopped. "This is not good," Adam said. "I know," Lena whispered. "I'm sorry. This is my fault." Adam shook his head. "It's not your fault that people are careless." Lena looked down. "But it started because I said those words in the cafe. Everyone heard me." Adam paused. He looked at Max, who had already fallen asleep on the chair, head leaning against the wall. Adam's voice softened. "We can handle this," he said. "But we need to handle it smart." They planned the next steps. Adam suggested they speak to the building manager where Lena lived before rumors reached him. If the manager heard gossip first, he might use it as an excuse to cause problems. Lena agreed. They would go tomorrow afternoon. That night, Lena could not sleep. She kept imagining the worst. She imagined her sister being questioned. She imagined Adam being judged as a bad father. She imagined the office worker seeing the post and deciding the arrangement was not stable. Lena felt like she was walking on thin ice. The next day, Lena met Adam outside her building. Adam wore simple clothes and carried Max's small backpack. Max walked beside him holding a juice box. Lena noticed how calm Max was, like he trusted his father completely. Lena envied that kind of safety. They went inside and waited for the building manager, a man named Rafi. Rafi was known for being strict and suspicious. He did not like tenants who caused trouble. Lena feared him almost as much as she feared the office. When Rafi arrived, he looked at Adam first. Then he looked at Lena. Then he looked at Max. His eyebrows lifted slightly. "What is this?" he asked. Adam spoke before Lena could. He introduced himself and explained calmly that he was Lena's partner and that they were forming a stable family unit. He spoke about responsibility and respect. He said they wanted to make sure there were no misunderstandings. Rafi listened, eyes narrow. Then he asked questions, sharp and direct. Where would Adam live? How often would he visit? Was this real or just a story for the office? Lena's heart pounded as she waited for Adam's answer. Adam did not lie. He did not build a huge story. He said they were making a serious plan and would keep things stable and quiet. He said his focus was his child and his work and a peaceful life. Rafi stared at him, then finally shrugged. "As long as there is no noise and no trouble," he said. "I don't care about your personal life." Lena felt relief wash through her like warm water. She almost smiled, but she held it back. She thanked Rafi and left with Adam and Max. Outside the building, Lena finally let herself breathe. She leaned against the wall for a second, feeling light-headed. Adam glanced at her. "You're okay," he said. Lena nodded, but her eyes were wet. "I didn't think he would accept it." Adam looked down at Max, who was busy spinning the wheels of his toy car. Adam's voice became thoughtful. "People accept what looks steady," Adam said. "We just have to stay steady." Lena heard the words, and they felt heavier than they sounded. Stay steady. It was simple to say, but hard to do when the world kept shaking. Later, Adam invited Lena to his home for the first time. He said it would help if neighbors saw them together in a normal setting. Lena felt nervous, but she agreed. Adam's home was small but clean. There were toys in a corner and drawings on the fridge. A soft blanket lay on the couch. The place smelled like soap and cooked rice. It felt like a real home, not a temporary room. Max showed Lena his drawings with excitement. Lena praised them sincerely. Adam watched the interaction quietly, his expression calm but curious. As evening came, they ate a simple meal. Lena helped wash dishes without being asked. She felt strange doing normal home things in someone else's space, but she also felt calm in a way she had not felt in a long time. After Max went to bed, Adam and Lena sat in the living room. The house was quiet. Lena looked at the drawings on the fridge again. Her voice became softer. "You're a good father," she said. Adam looked tired for a moment, like the words touched something deep. "I try," he replied. Lena hesitated. "Do you ever feel lonely?" Adam did not answer right away. He stared at his hands, then looked at Lena. "Yes," he said. "But loneliness is not the worst thing. The worst thing is feeling unsafe." Lena understood that too well. She nodded slowly. The silence between them was not awkward. It was honest. Then Adam's phone buzzed on the table. He checked it, and his expression changed. He looked up at Lena, serious again. "The office sent a message," he said. Lena's heart dropped. "What message?" Adam took a breath. "They want a home visit," he said. "Soon." The calm moment snapped. Lena felt fear rise again, fast and sharp. A home visit could destroy everything if they were not ready. Adam stood up slowly, still steady, but now focused like a person preparing for a storm. Lena watched him, realizing their agreement had reached a new level. Tomorrow had been the first test, but the real tests were only beginning. And now they had to figure out how to face them together. The news about the home visit changed the air in the room. Lena felt the calm slip away, replaced by a tight knot in her chest. She stood up slowly and walked toward the window, looking out at the quiet street. The lights outside seemed softer than before, almost unsure. Adam stayed near the table, thinking carefully. They talked for a long time that night. Not in panic, but with focus. Adam explained how these visits usually worked. The officers would look for signs of stability. They would ask simple questions, observe behavior, and take notes. They were not there to trap anyone, but they were trained to notice small things. Lena listened closely, nodding at each point. They agreed that the visit should happen at Adam's home. It was more suitable for a family setting. There was space for Max. There were personal items that showed routine and care. Lena worried about her name not being on anything there, but Adam said honesty would matter more than perfect appearance. The next few days became busy. Lena continued her shifts at the cafe. Adam managed his work schedule carefully. They met almost every evening to prepare. They did not rehearse lines like actors. Instead, they talked about real things. They shared stories from their past. Lena spoke about growing up too fast and taking care of her sister. Adam spoke about learning to raise a child alone and the fear of doing something wrong every day. These talks changed something between them. They began to understand each other beyond the agreement. Lena noticed how Adam listened without interrupting. Adam noticed how Lena always thought about others before herself. There was no rush. No pressure. Just quiet trust growing slowly. Max also became part of their routine. He welcomed Lena with excitement whenever she arrived. He showed her new drawings and asked her to read him short stories. Lena never forced herself into his space. She followed Adam's lead and let Max choose how close he wanted to be. Over time, Max started sitting next to her on the couch without thinking about it. The day before the home visit arrived faster than Lena expected. Her nerves returned full force. She cleaned Adam's home with extra care, even though it was already clean. She folded blankets, wiped surfaces, and organized toys. Adam reminded her that perfection was not the goal. Normal life was. That night, Lena could not sleep well. She lay awake thinking about every possible question. She worried about saying the wrong thing. She worried about Max acting nervous. She worried about the officers seeing through them. Adam noticed her tension and offered her a cup of warm milk. They sat at the table quietly. "You don't have to be someone else," Adam said. "Just be yourself." Lena nodded, but fear did not leave easily. The morning of the visit was quiet. The sky was pale and clear. Lena dressed in simple clothes. Nothing too formal. Nothing careless. Adam did the same. Max wore his favorite shirt and carried his toy car. When the doorbell rang, Lena's heart jumped. Adam opened the door calmly. 2 officers stood outside, 1 man and 1 woman. Their faces were neutral. Their voices were polite. They introduced themselves and stepped inside. The visit began in the living room. The officers asked Adam and Lena to sit together. Max sat on the floor, playing quietly. The woman officer asked basic questions. How long they had been together. How they managed daily life. How they supported each other. Adam answered clearly. Lena answered honestly. They did not look at each other for approval. They spoke with confidence built from real understanding. When asked about challenges, Lena admitted things were not perfect. She said they were learning. Adam agreed and added that growth mattered more than speed. The officers walked around the home. They looked at the kitchen, the bedroom, and Max's space. They noticed drawings on the fridge and school items on the table. The man officer asked Max simple questions about his routine. Max answered without fear, speaking about school and bedtime stories. Lena watched closely, holding her breath. But Max was relaxed. He did not sense danger. He felt safe. After what felt like a long time, the officers returned to the living room. They thanked Adam and Lena for their cooperation. The woman officer said the report would be reviewed and that they would be informed of the results soon. She did not promise anything. She did not threaten anything. She simply nodded and left. When the door closed, Lena felt her knees weaken. She sat down quickly, letting out a long breath she did not know she was holding. Adam leaned against the wall for a moment, rubbing his face with his hands. Max looked up at them, confused. "Is everything okay?" Max asked. Adam smiled and knelt beside him. "Yes," he said. "Everything is okay." They spent the rest of the day quietly. Lena stayed for dinner. The tension slowly faded. But underneath the calm, a new question grew. What would happen after the visit result came? What would happen when the reason for their agreement no longer existed? That question became real sooner than expected. 3 days later, Lena received a call from the office. Her hands shook as she answered. The voice on the line was calm. The officer said the home visit report was positive. The arrangement would continue without issue. Lena thanked the officer again and again before the call ended. When Lena told Adam, relief washed over both of them. They shared a quiet smile. Max clapped without fully understanding why. For the first time since this all began, Lena felt the weight lift from her chest. That night, after Max went to sleep, Lena and Adam sat together again. The mood was different now. There was no emergency pressing them together. No deadline forcing decisions. "I want to say something," Lena said softly. "And I want to say it honestly." Adam nodded, giving her space. "I know this started as an agreement," Lena said. "You helped me when I needed it most. I will always be grateful. But now that the danger has passed, I don't want to pretend anymore." Adam listened carefully. "I don't want to confuse Max," Lena continued. "And I don't want to trap you in something you didn't choose." Adam was quiet for a moment. Then he spoke. "I was thinking the same," he said. "About honesty. About choice." The silence between them felt heavy but respectful. Adam looked at Lena with a seriousness that was not cold. "We can end the agreement," he said. "Or we can change it. Slowly. Only if we both want to." Lena's heart raced. She had not expected those words, but they felt right. She did not answer immediately. She needed to think, not from fear, but from truth. "I don't know what I want yet," Lena admitted. "But I know I don't want to disappear from your lives." Adam nodded. Then we take it one step at a time. They did not decide anything that night. And that felt okay. For once, Lena was not being pushed by time. She was choosing. As Lena prepared to leave, she paused at the door. She looked back at Adam and felt something new. Not panic. Not pressure. Something gentle and strong. The agreement had saved her. But what came next would be something different. Something real. The days after the home visit felt strangely quiet. Lena expected her heart to race every morning the way it had before, but now it beat in a calmer rhythm. She returned to her routines at the cafe. She wiped tables, served drinks, and exchanged polite words with customers. The whispers faded. People moved on to other stories. Life continued, and for once, Lena did not feel like she was chasing it from behind. Adam also returned to his normal rhythm. He went to work, picked up Max from school, cooked simple meals, and helped with homework. But something had changed for him too. The house no longer felt like a place he passed through between responsibilities. It felt warmer. The drawings on the fridge meant more. The empty chair at the table felt noticeable when Lena was not there. They did not force meetings. They let things happen naturally. Some days Lena came by in the evening to help Max with reading. Some days she did not. Some days Adam walked Lena home after her shift. Some days they simply exchanged messages wishing each other a good night. There was no rule anymore, and that freedom felt heavier than the old agreement. Max noticed the change in his own quiet way. He did not ask many questions, but he watched closely. Children always did. He noticed that Lena laughed more easily now. He noticed that his father smiled without thinking when Lena walked into the room. Max felt safe, and safety made him curious instead of worried. One afternoon, Lena received a call that made her stop in the middle of the street. Her neighbor told her that her younger sister could finally come stay with her. The paperwork was cleared. The room was approved. The waiting was over. Lena stood there holding her phone, tears filling her eyes. This time, she did not wipe them away. She let them fall, right there on the sidewalk. People passed by, unaware that her life had just shifted in a quiet but powerful way. The first person she called was Adam. He listened as Lena spoke through tears and laughter. He did not interrupt. When she finished, he congratulated her with genuine joy in his voice. "You did this," he said. "I didn't do it alone," Lena replied. That evening, Lena invited Adam and Max to her place for the first time. The room was small, but it was clean and bright. Lena had added a few personal touches. A soft blanket on the bed. A plant near the window. A small table set carefully for guests. Max looked around with interest. He sat on the floor and played with his car, making gentle sounds. Adam noticed how Lena's shoulders relaxed in her own space. He saw pride in her posture. He respected it. They shared a simple meal. They talked about normal things. School, work, food, weather. Nothing heavy. Nothing forced. After dinner, Lena made tea, and they sat quietly. Adam looked around the room and spoke thoughtfully. "It feels like a beginning," he said. Lena nodded. "It does." Later that night, after Adam and Max left, Lena sat alone on her bed. The room was quiet. For the first time in a long while, the silence did not feel empty. It felt full of possibility. She thought about the fear that had ruled her life just weeks ago. She thought about the words she had spoken in panic at the cafe. She almost laughed at how everything had started. The next weeks passed gently. Lena's sister moved in and filled the room with energy and questions. Lena took on the role of guardian with confidence. Adam visited sometimes, keeping a respectful distance, never stepping into a space that was not offered. But Lena noticed something important. He was always there when needed. One evening, Max asked a simple question while Lena was helping him with homework. "Are you staying?" he asked. Lena paused. She did not want to give a promise she could not keep. She chose honesty. I am here right now, she said. And I care about you. Max smiled, satisfied with the answer. Adam watched this exchange quietly. That night, after Max went to bed, Adam and Lena sat together again, just like before. The silence was familiar now, not heavy. I have been thinking, Adam said, about what comes next. Lena felt her heart speed up, but not with fear. I don't want to rush, Adam continued. But I also don't want to pretend I feel nothing. Lena took a breath. I feel something too, she said. But I need it to be real. Slow. Chosen. Adam nodded. That's what I want as well. They did not label anything. They did not make promises for the future. They simply agreed to keep choosing honesty and care. That felt stronger than any agreement they had made before. Time passed. Seasons changed. Lena grew stronger in her role as guardian. Adam continued being a steady father. Max grew taller and more confident. The three of them formed a quiet rhythm, not because rules demanded it, but because it felt right. One evening, they returned to the same cafe where everything had started. Lena was no longer working there. She sat at a table this time, holding a warm cup. Adam sat across from her. Max drew pictures like he always had. Lena looked around the cafe and smiled softly. She remembered the fear. She remembered the words she had spoken without thinking. She remembered the chair scraping against the floor and Adam standing up. Adam followed her gaze. Funny how life works, he said. Lena nodded. I thought I was asking for something impossible. And you found something unexpected, Adam replied. They sat there quietly, not needing more words. Lena no longer needed a husband by tomorrow. She no longer lived under fear. She had a home. She had family. She had choice. And this time, whatever came next would not be built from panic, but from trust, patience, and the courage to let something real grow.